Good morning, Year 5. Good morning, those at home. Good morning, those in the bubble. Okay, today's skill is to multiply unit fractions by whole numbers. You're probably thinking, oh no, I've just been adding and subtracting fractions. Now I've got to multiply them. Don't panic. I actually think this part is easier than adding and subtracting when we have to change the denominators and things. So take your time, go through step by step, but you can do it. Okay, so let's start with our arithmetic challenge. You've got your 3 times tables. You've got to complete the sequence. Okay, and then finding the factors. So you might want to draw factor rainbows to remind you. Okay, so good luck with those. Take your time and come back when you're ready for the answers. Okay, so here are your answers. Okay, so the ones that are probably going to be the trickiest is the sequencing, but once you worked out what the intervals are, you should be able to continue with those. Okay, and your factors are of course the numbers that you can multiply by. So you can multiply to get to 8, you can multiply 1 by 8 or 2 by 4. Okay, good job. So your skill is to multiply unit fractions. What is a unit fraction? Okay, have a talk to somebody, see if you can have a guess if you haven't heard of it before. Okay, so a unit fraction is any fraction with 1 as its numerator and a whole number for the denominator. So for example, these are all unit fractions. Okay, so 1/4, 1/12, 1/100th. Okay, they're all unit fractions because they've all got a 1 as a numerator. Okay. So did you know, when you're multiplying fractions by a whole number, you multiply the numerator by the fraction by the whole number. But the denominator just stays the same. So let's find out more. So I have a pizza which I have cut into 8 equal parts. Okay, so you can see my pizza down here. I've got 4 here, 4 there. It's been divided into 8ths. Okay, so how many of my pieces make one whole? Okay, so 8 pieces make a whole. 1 slice of the pizza is 1/8. Okay, we know that. We know how many pieces make a whole because we know that 8/8ths make a whole. If I eat 5 slices of pizza, what fraction of the pizza have I eaten? Okay, so here's my whole pizza. I'm going to eat 5 slices throughout the day. I can't eat it all in one go. So if I eat 5 slices of pizza, what fraction of the pizza have I eaten? Okay, we know that when adding fractions with the same denominator, we can add the numerators. Okay, so if I have 1/8 and another 1/8, and altogether there's 5 pieces of pizza, I can just add my numerators, and I've eaten 5/8 of that pizza. This repeated addition is the same as 5 times 1/8. All we do is multiply this whole number by the numerator. 5 times 1 is 5, and the denominator stays the same. Let's have another go. So I've got a square which has been divided equally into 4 pieces. What fraction of the square is shaded? Okay, so look at the square. What fraction is shaded? Think about the denominator. Think about how many shaded parts. Okay, and you can see that 1/4 of the shape is shaded. It's been divided into 4 equal parts and only 1 of the pieces are shaded. Mrs. Wisner has shaded 3 times as much as me. Calculate how much of the square is shaded. So Mrs. Wisner has shaded 3 times as much. How much has she shaded? Okay, So this is a whole. This is 3 times the amount as mine, because I had 1. Okay, so we're doing 3 times as much as mine. So we've got 1/4, add 1/4, add 1/4 equals 3/4. Okay, which is the same as 3 times 1/4. Okay, because you've got 3 here, you're just times in the 1 by 3 to get 3/4, times in this 3 by this 1. Okay, so let's have a look. What calculation is represented here? So look carefully, because this is an equal sign here. Okay, so something here, so look at the denominator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 equal parts, but how many pieces are shaded? Okay, there's 1 out of the 10 parts shaded, but we've got 2 of those. So we could write 1/10 add 1/10 equals 2/10. Okay, or we could do something else. Okay, we know that this is 1/10. And we know we've got 2 of them. Okay, so 1/10 times 2 equals, we know it equals up here 2/10, which is the same as 1/5. Okay, they can both be divided by 2. So I'll just tell you again. So we had 1/10, but we had 2 lots. Okay, we had 2 groups of 1/10. So we could write it at 1/10 at 1/10, or we could just do 1/10 times 2. And then we're just multiplying this whole number by the numerator. Okay, so use this method to work out 2 times 1/3, 1/5 times 3, and 6 times 1/10. Okay, now it doesn't matter which way round this is written. You can have the whole number first and then the fraction, or the fraction multiplied by the whole number. Because as you know, with multiplication, okay, we can have it either way around. We can have 3 times 5 or 5 times 3. The answer will still be the same. Now that works exactly the same with fractions. Okay, so have a go at working those out, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, so pause the video, write them out into your books, and then we'll have a look together. Okay, so 2 times 1/3. Okay, so we're going to times the 2, the whole number by the numerator, which will give us 2/3. We're going to times the 1, the numerator by the whole number, so that's 3/5 because the denominator stays the same. Then we're going to do our whole, which is 6 times this 1 to give us 6/10, or 3/5 if you simplify it. Okay, so I'm sure you all agree that providing you remember which one you're timesing, which one you're multiplying, because you don't want to multiply 3 times 5, okay, you must do the numerator. But I think you'll agree that it's okay. It's pretty good to be moving on to from addition and subtracting. Okay, so let's try some more. We've got 7 times 1/5. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to times the whole number by the numerator. Okay, and here we've got it shown on a number line. And you can see here, we've got 7 lots of fifths. 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, and there's 7 of them. Okay, what do you notice about that? Is it any? It's a bit blurry, I do apologise. Do you notice anything in particular? So what is 7 times 1 for our numerator? Okay, so 7 times 1 is 7, and we've got our 5. Now, if we look here, we can see that we've got a 1 here, and we can also see that this is an improper fraction. Okay? So this is bigger than a whole because we've got 2 extra parts left over. So 7 times 1/5 is 7/5. So we need to change it to a mixed number. You're experts at this now. So we've got 7 and we're going to divide it by 5. We know we've got 1 with 2 left over. Okay, so let's try another one. 5 times 1/3. Okay, what's the first thing you're going to do? Okay, you're going to times your whole number by your numerator, which will give you 5/3. Okay, that's an improper fraction. So if we change it to a mixed number, we know that 3 goes into 5 one time with 2 left over. So it's 1 2/3. Okay, remembering the denominator stays the same. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay, so these are your questions for today. Have a go at doing those. Okay, if you get stuck at any point, then go back and watch the video again. It's really structured today for you because we've done so much with our fraction work. I really want to make sure you're really understanding each part. So we've done lots of addition, subtraction, and now we're on to multiplication. Okay, but just remember that you're multiplying the numerator by the whole number. The denominator stays the same. Okay, if you have to change them into improper fractions and mixed numbers, okay, then do that. If you can simplify, then have a go at doing that as well. Okay, if you're in the bubble with me today and you finish that really quickly, you can have a go at this. And again, if you are at home and you want an extra challenge, see if you can solve this one. So Ollie sprints 1/9 of a mile 6 times a week. Abby sprints 1/3 of a mile 2 times a week. Ollie thinks that he sprints further than Abby. Is he correct? I don't know. Can you prove it? Okay, I'd like you to write the calculations out to show your answer and write the question out too. Okay, good luck with those. Come back when you're ready for the answers. Okay, so we have got 5 times a half. Okay, we're just going to multiply the whole number by the numerator, which will give us 5/2, which is an improper fraction, and we know that we've got 2 with 1 left over. Okay, next one, we've got 9 times 1, so it's going to be 9/4. We know that 4 goes into 9 2 times with 1 left over. So that's 2 1/4. Then we've got 13 times 1, sorry. Ignore Mrs. Coleman. So 13 times 1, so we've got 13/6. We know that 6 goes into 13 2 times with 1 left over. We've then got 20 times 1/18, so we're going to times 20 by 1. So the whole number by the numerator to give us 20/18. Okay, we know that 18 goes into 20 once with 2 left over. Now that one can be simplified, okay, because both of those can be divided by 2. So we would go down to 1 1/9. And then lastly, we've got 50 times 1. So we've got 50/25. Now how many times does 25 go into 50? It's 2. So that one's just a whole number. Okay, so hopefully you would have noticed that because 25 times 2 is 50. Okay, so 50 divided by 25 is 2. So well done if you got that one. Okay, so let's look at this. So Ollie is incorrect. So let's go back to the question. So Ollie sprints 1/9 of a mile 6 times a week. Abby sprints 1/3 of a mile 2 times a week. Okay, Ollie is incorrect because 6/9 of a mile is the same as 2/3 of a mile. Okay, they're equivalent fractions. Okay, because both can be divided by 3. Okay, so both fractions are equivalent to 2/3. Okay, so in actual fact, he thinks he has sprinted further than Abby. Is he correct? No. Okay, they both sprinted the same amount, the same distance. Okay, your final thought for today. Amir is multiplying fractions by a whole number. Okay, so he has multiplied 1/5 times 5 is 5/25. Can you explain his mistake? Now hopefully you have noticed this mistake already, but I'll give you a couple of minutes, pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so what is Amir's mistake? Amir has multiplied both the numerator and the denominator, so he has found an equivalent fraction. Okay, because 1/5 is equivalent to 5/25. What should he have done? He should have only multiplied the numerator. So in actual fact, he should have had 5 times 1, 5/5, which is the same as 1 whole. Okay, great work today, guys. I hope you found that okay. As always, let me know if you're struggling with anything on the Discord chat and I will aim to help you. Okay, but I shall see you this afternoon for science. Okay, enjoy your day. Bye.